Okay, so with a montage, you put something on, and then you have like your panel of judges essentially who are like, yay or nay. But, come on, you knew this wasn't going to be the dress that anyone went with. We don't need them to be like, ooh, it's a little avant-garde. It was made of polygons. It's a dress made of abstract prisms. Why would that be the one?
Grab some popcorn and stick around. We've got some garbage to talk about.
Hi, Rogue.
Hey, Zax.
Hi, Karina.
Hey, Zax. Hey, Rogue.
Hi, Yulia.
Hi, Zax. Hi, Rogue. Hi, Karina.
Hey.
I did it!
You did. So, we're continuing with our Barbie series. Today we're talking about Barbie as Rapunzel. And, granted, this is the first one that I legitimately rented. But, it did look the most attractive, I guess I'll say. Like, I don't know how to put it.
The most enticing.
Most, like, Fairytopia was so whimsical and fresh, and, like, Princess of the Pauper was, like, cute, but they looked really stilted and old, and this one is the first one that I was like, okay.
My attention.
You're fine. You're not...
You're fine.
You're not bad at all. So, let's just jump into the plot, and we can go from there.
Well, I would just like to say first, to be fair, that I think Rapunzel was, like, the second Barbie movie to come out. Yes, it is the second entry in the Barbie film franchise. So, there's that.
Okay.
So, that's probably why it doesn't look as visually nice, I suppose you could say.
It's still pretty good for, like,
Yeah.
the visuals. It still does, like, a really nice job of, like, building atmosphere and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start off with, like, a framing device that the other movies we've had didn't have.
Mhm.
And I'm just
The
gonna...
first couple Barbie movies did this.
I
Then they
didn't...
stopped. For a while, but because then they pick it up in, like, the newer ones sometimes.
I didn't play with Barbie, so I'm assuming Barbie and Kelly mean something to Barbie people.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are sisters.
Okay, yeah, cool. Still, as far as a framing device, I feel like they could have just had the movie without them. Because and we'll come back to this, but it doesn't really, I don't know, it's just weird. But basically what happens is Kelly's like, Barbie, tell me what to paint. That's half the fun. You gotta think of your own thing. But it'd just be easier if you would just, like, tell me what to paint. Well, you're making me think of a story where a girl's painting saved her life. Saddle up!
Kelly's, like, trying to express, like, I'm having art block, and Barbie's like, let me tell you a story that has nothing to do with what you're asking.
And not only that, but way to set up unreal expectations.
Yeah.
But okay.
Kelly, if you don't become the next Michelangelo,
Yeah.
I am cutting you out of the will.
God.
So now we're on Rapunzel, and we're basically launched right into the whole deal. She's in the tower. She's painting. She's got two animals. Well, she's got a dragon sidekick and a rabbit sidekick.
They're animals.
Well,
May we please speak about
but I feel
the
like
dragon sidekick, or Penelope, please, just for a second?
We'll get there in a sec.
Please, I love her so much.
the only thing I would say, though, before we get into Penelope specifically, is I feel like sometimes there's, like, a mystical sidekick, and then there's, like, an animal sidekick, and she's got one of each. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
True epic.
Yeah.
Gush
Going for
about
both
Penelope,
tropes.
please, Yuvia.
Oh my god. She's perfect.
Okay.
She's like, she's not...
Very insightful, thank you.
I mean, okay, no. So, Like, the thing I have about, like, sidekicks, like Bibble, is that, for me, it's like, it's either hit or miss with, like, sidekick characters, is that they're either super endearing and entertaining, or they're absolutely, like, the most annoying thing about the movie. And Penelope is perfect in every way.
Penelope is voiced by Cree Summer, who is an absolute icon in the voice acting world.
That's true.
She she doesn't come off as annoying, but she does have, like, she has development throughout the story as well, and also I think she isn't a plot point, like her character, like, moves the story along.
Yeah.
Which is also super good. Like, Bibble didn't do anything.
Well, I don't feel like Bibble needs to be trashed, but...
Justice for Bibble.
Sorry. No.
But, okay, going with that, I do think you're right. I will say, going along with that, Penelope's existence is justified more than the rabbit, who I don't remember the name of.
Sure. Don't get me started on the rabbit. The rabbit, honestly, like...
Okay, so...
I like Toby. He was fun.
Okay.
I mean, no, he was fine, but, like, compared to Penelope...
Well, like,
there's
Penelope's
no
a
contest.
character in her
he's the
own
comic
right.
relief.
But he wasn't that funny.
He's the sassy gay
He was
one.
supposed to be funny, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, most
He just
kids...
wasn't.
Yeah,
He was just overshadowed by the absolute raw talent of Kelly Sheridan and Cree Summer.
Exactly.
So, okay.
It's hard to compete.
So, I will say, I mean, framing device aside, they don't really waste any time explaining everything you need to know.
They're like, you know Rapunzel, you know the story, let's get into it.
Although, it is weird, though, because the one thing about the story that everybody knows, they don't utilize the way you'd expect.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about that. But, okay, so she's painting, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. And she's like, yeah, if only I wasn't here, then the world could be mine. Or whatever. You know, she wants to not be trapped. Mother Gothel comes home, and...
Oh, really quick before we get into her. Something I want us to remember is in this scene, Rapunzel is painting a seaside.
Oh.
And it looks like the beach from Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it's the Little Mermaid beach.
It's exactly that.
Yeah, actually, it is.
Yeah, it's kind of odd how similar it is.
It's just flipped.
Yeah.
To avoid copyright.
Yeah.
So, then Mother Gothel comes and they have to hide it, which I thought was interesting because I had Tangled on the mind going into it. So I didn't realize she wasn't allowed to have interests.
Not allowed.
But Mother Gothel, I think I do like, I prefer this Mother Gothel in some ways to the Tangled Mother Gothel because...
This Mother Gothel is voiced by Angelica Houston, who you may know as Morticia Adams.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mattel said, let's drop the budget on these, on these A-list actors.
Yeah.
They said, animation, what's that? Spend it all on the actors, please.
Morticia, we love you.
I think that it wasn't a problem with the Tangled movie. It was more just like with audience reception. It just didn't go the way that was intended because a lot of people came away from the Tangled movie being like, but deep down, Mother Gothel really does love Rapunzel in her own way.
She loved her on some level.
And it's like, no,
you guys are missing the point of an abusive parent.
Yeah, she negs her, ruins her estate. Mother Gothel is a bad person.
Yeah. She's an abuser, and everyone's like, but I think she loves her. I'm like, bestie, this is not it.
That's not how it works.
Which I will say I appreciate that this Barbie was like, no, she's bad. That is all you need to know about her.
We are not supposed to like or empathize with her. We can like her because she's a villain and she's a baddie, but we know that she's not a good person.
I will say, though, the more we learn about her motivation, she loses my respect as a villain as we learn. Each time we learn one more detail about this Mother Gothel, the more I'm like, this feels like a big waste of your life, but okay.
Yeah.
But fine. So, Mother Gothel's like, you need to go make my tea. And then she goes with her
Steep it
animal
for 6 minutes.
sidekicks to make the tea.
Oh,
Yeah,
can we, before we go on, can we talk about Mother Gothel's animal sidekick?
Oh, sure.
What's his
I was
name?
going
Otto.
to set aside some time for him, but yeah, go introduce, please.
So, if I remember correctly, his name is Otto.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a clip that's pretty viral of him from the movie.
Yeah.
Where he says, "Give him to me." And everyone's like, "What is this?"
And he makes several of those sounds throughout the movie. So I wonder if that was just the actor's choice. Like, Otto looks like he moans everything. Or if the directors were like, add a moan. He's hungry after all.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It kind of reminds me of Martin Short's, I don't know how to describe it. Martin
Portrayal
Short's,
of Preminger.
Yeah, portrayal of Preminger, but with Preminger, it was more like gay cackling. With Otto, it's like very
Horny
like,
rat.
Yeah, it's like a horny rat.
I mean, that is accurate.
And the only
I'm the
reason
giant rat.
the only reason I put Barbie Rapunzel on the list to watch was because of that one scene where he goes, "Give him to me."
Yeah, he's like weirdly like
Sexual.
like weirdly horny, but also hungry for Hobie. That's a hard sentence to say. But he's like, I want to eat
horngry.
him, but I also
Yeah, he's horngry.
He's hungry. I am hungry for the rabbit.
Macaroni with
You're
the
my
chicken
snack,
strips.
but also a
My
snack.
snack. Oh.
Okay, so they go to
Already
make
going off the rail.
You're fine. So it's time to make tea that needs to be steeped for 6.5 minutes. No more, no less, which I think is
Yes,
hilarious.
Angelica Houston, 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes, no more, no less. Anything for you.
But then animal
movie was
sidekick
really
hijinks ensue, and they end up discovering this tunnel that leads to the outside world. And I love that the sidekicks were like, "Oh wait, no," or like they were a little apprehensive, but she was like, "I gotta go."
See ya.
Because then I was like,
also,
"Yeah."
real quick, sorry. I think it's important to say the castle. What is it? The castle that
The
she
manor?
lives
Her
Yeah.
hidden. Oh yeah, right.
in is like
think-
a normal. It's not a tower, like we
Yeah,
typically think
yeah.
of when we think Rapunzel. It's just like normal sized castle manor house.
Right.
I think we should
2-story
call it.
tops.
I think
But-
we should call it a mastle or
Okay.
a canner, like a castle.
How about we
manor.
don't?
I thought it was.
Let's
really
not
cool.
say we did.
Okay.
You can.
Fine.
I'll
The
just.
canner.
I'll.
the
I'm
man-
really
So-
into
Oh.
portmanteaus here.
One detail I did forget, and this will. I guess this does explain why they don't really utilize Rapunzel the way one would expect. But the manor is hidden by like a secret force field of magic or whatever, so nobody
Well,
even knows it's there.
That's actually part of the Rapunzel legend.
Oh well.
It's not
'Cause
that
they do that-
it
they
was-
do that-
Not that
they
it
do
was
it-
hidden. Sorry.
No, you go first.
Not that it was hidden necessarily behind like a Wonder Woman-esque magic green screen, but like it was hidden by like brush and like
Yeah.
thickets.
Yeah, well, I know
like
about
it was
that.
it was obscured,
just-
entangled. It was like hidden behind a wall with a bunch of greenery.
Yeah.
stuff.
I just meant like the prince isn't really going to easily
Okay.
go come a knocking on the tower anytime soon.
What's this? An abandoned castle. I sure hope there aren't any beautiful women in here.
That would
prince.
be your whole deal as a prince.
Yeah, just
Prince-
Just
If I was a
stumbling
prince-
into places.
oh, I hope there aren't any milfs here.
It reminds me of that gif. I think it's like of Ariana Grande, or it's like some girl with like a high red ponytail, and she's like daintily running through like some creepy woods, and she looks back, and it gives me the vibes of, oh no, I hope no one stabs me.
Oh no, I hope a big 8-foot tall scary vampire lady doesn't come up behind me.
Oh no.
This is unrelated, but it just reminded me. There's this one TikTok I saw where the girl was like, where it shows like the text of like what someone just said, and they're like, oh my gosh, you have such cute chubby cheeks. And she's just like, then breastfeed me. Goo goo gaga.
Speaking
God, we're gonna have to censor this. Gaga, got your milkies. Since you wanna act like a fucking baby.
Okay, I was gonna say that the
worst video so far.
The 8-foot tall vampire lady. I saw a video on Tumblr recently of a mod that someone put in Resident Evil Village, and it's Lady Dimitrescu, but every time you look at her, her hat gets bigger.
Oh. That is not what I want when I play this game.
And actually, yeah, her hat does get bigger every time you look at her.
Okay, back to the story. So she sneaks
Anyway.
out, and so great timing. I'm glad she snuck out at this time, because there are some princesses, and one almost falls into like a deep ditch, and
They're like,
she
oh,
saves
look, we're
her.
just frolicking in the woods. Oh, look, there's apples. Ah.
So then
It's like a
splat.
in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So then Rapunzel rescues the girl, and like this guy comes along. Who is this guy? We don't know yet.
A man.
But and they
Yo, is that Prince King Dominic from Princess and the Pauper?
No, because it's Julian's voice actor.
Barbie multiverse theory? Barbie cinematic universe?
We already established that all of these are just Barbie's own AUs.
Yes.
Yeah.
but my Marvel cinematic universe.
We
I
don't
mean, it's
care.
still, it can still be into the Barbie verse.
Ooh.
into the Barbie verse. I like the idea of them just like duplicating the entire MCU. Like they even have Barbie Vision, Loki. Yeah, that would be Barbie
Or
and Loki.
Biter Man.
Yeah, just had a B where it doesn't fit Byron
Oh my gosh,
Man.
we're gonna bring
no.
We're gonna
You
bring
know
the
this-
meme back.
You know what this means, right? That means that they'll have the amazing bulk.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Oh
Ooh.
no. Okay, can we
Hulk,
can
but
we
he's
rec-
pink.
can we retcon the Barbie universe right now?
Sure.
Can we just say it never happened?
Okay, so she meets the prince, but she doesn't know who he is. Because she gets sidetracked. She's like, oh wow, it's late. I can't really stick around and hang out with you. I gotta sneak back into the castle. I
Bye.
don't really get how she got back in. I think not that it wasn't super clear. It's just weird that like there's like this force field barrier, but somehow she could just go back to it. It feels like it would have been harder, but it doesn't.
I think she
really
snuck
matter.
in through the
Like, the tunnel leads somewhere.
what's it, like the weird catacombs that they had under
Oh.
the stairs.
Stairs?
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
Oh, the catacombs.
So then Otto, he's goes to Mother Gothel, and he's like, "Oh, you'll never guess who I saw. I saw."
Never guess who I saw.
And she's like, "Oh, what?" And then basically Rapunzel goes. He tells on Rapunzel. Then this is where I was like, okay, honestly, Mother Gothel, you are like losing the plot a little bit, but okay. So she goes up there and she's like, "Who did you meet in the city?" I don't know his name.
I think you're
and like
being a
the thing
liar.
is, the thing that she made it clear, like, no, I did meet someone, and I did leave, and I will continue to leave every opportunity I get. I just don't know his name. That's the only piece of information I am not able to provide you with at this time. And she's like, you can stay up here till you learn your lesson or whatever. And I'm like...
Well, because she thinks she's lying, so...
I get that but I mean... If she's already confessed...
If she's... For everyone else.
I guess... If she's confessing to everything already, except the one thing she doesn't know... I guess, I don't know. It's like, of all the things to be mad about, I'd be more concerned with the whole, like, escaping deal. And trying to get out of this servitude or whatever.
Yeah, it's...
But, like, whatever your issues are gonna be. Mother Gothel. So,
whatever, Gothel. Whatever floats your boat.
So then, we get a little bit of Penelope's character arc. Her dad is the head...
jerk.
The dragon for...
the head dragon.
Mother Gothel, yeah. It's just the two of them, I guess.
He's the giant dragon that makes all of the rules.
And, well, this is the thing, too. I don't know. This is just kind of the vibe I got. Like, the two times I watched it was kind of mixed. So, like, he is a slave to Mother Gothel. Yes. And it definitely feels like the reason he's hard on Penelope is because, well, and also they kind of confirm it later when Mother Gothel's just bagging on Penelope for like 5 minutes, like, that's cool. But I think he needs her to be as good a dragon as she can be so that she doesn't get, like, tortured. Because as we see several times, Mother Gothel just abuses him physically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he doesn't want that to happen to his daughter. So, I think that's...
He has some intergenerational trauma that he is working through.
Yeah.
But in turn is traumatizing his child. He doesn't know any other way.
Can I just say that there's a really heartbreaking line that actually hit me? When Penelope's dad, Hugo, flies off, and the rabbit, who, I don't know why the name, I can't remember his name. Huey. Hobie. Is like, does your dad ever smile? And Penelope's like, not when he's around me. And I was like, oh my god.
No, when he's
See, and that's why
me.
I think it's a little bit more than, like, he's pushing her, maybe at, like, more of a subconscious level, that's why, or, like, that's the underlying reason. But I think he was supposed to come off as, like, hyper masculine, callous, the typical, like, scary dragon, scary dad kind of character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely got that. It was just the more I saw of him, the more I was like... I couldn't help but think about the fact that he's a slave with a child. And I couldn't ignore that, and I just felt like it was I still think it's good, like, for those like, he learns to accept his daughter as she is eventually and all that, and that's great. Just... I can't help ignore the fact that he's a slave with a child.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that you can't really... Not
Where do we
that,
think her mom is?
You know, I asked
Dead.
Bob about this. We're thinking it was just like he laid the egg.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, is there Mpreg in the Barbie universe?
I mean, is that emperor? They're dragons. Like, there's lizards.
Maybe it's like a seahorse
There's
thing?
reptiles. That's just...
Do male reptiles lay eggs?
No, but, like, look at a seahorse. Like,
Okay.
it's a fantastic creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. That's okay. Because, like,
Sea
because sometimes... Yeah, okay. Alright, I'll accept that, headcanon. I'll accept that. We don't have to crack out the Mpreg merch just yet, so
I mean...
put your tote bags away, ladies.
So, that's going on in the background of all this. But then, that night, or whatever, she sort of looks out wistfully, and a shooting star changes her hairbrush into a paintbrush.
Did we mention that she found a hairbrush?
In the basement.
Well, now we are.
Oh, right, she found it in the basement. Okay.
So, okay, when she went into the basement with Hobie and Penelope, they were going through Gothel stuff. And they're like, ooh, scandalous. And then they opened up, like, a music box. And there was a note on it that was like, oh, for our daughter Rapunzel on her first birthday, we love you, Mom and Dad. And Rapunzel's like, oh my god, what the heck? Gothel said that my parents ditched me when I was, like, freshly born. She's been lying to me. Why would she do that? And right there, it's, like, planting the seed of mistrust between the two. So keep that in mind. And then what was in the music box was a hairbrush. So this is the hairbrush.
You know, a lot of...
Also, they find that old picture of Gothel with a guy, but we don't know who the guy is.
Oh, yeah, his face is torn out of the picture.
And Penelope says, ooh, she sure got mad at somebody.
So,
I love Cree Summer.
I love her too.
Favorite Cree Summer role? Go.
I knew her growing up as Cleo from Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I really love Cleo, yeah.
I like Cleo a lot. I think I'd still
Also
go with
Susie?
Susie Carmichael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic. I think
I'll
Bob's
have to-
pick
I'll
is
have
number
to-
5.
I'll have to actually look at who she's played,
If there's any...
because for some reason my brain's like, what?
If the character is black, it is voiced by Cree Summers.
And not even always, because if you're like an Inspector Gadget fan, she was Penny.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, back to the story. So now, anyway, she's making paint for Rapunzel, just because they only have red berries, so they just make
so
this
they're
big
just-
tub of just red paint.
Yeah, they're making jam, essentially. They're like, it's paint. And you're like, thanks, I
So
love
then
it.
they bring it up to her, and she ends up making a portal.
You missed,
so-
like,
Well,
three
hold
there
on.
is
I'm
so
gonna
much that you need to
clarify.
add.
I'm gonna
Okay.
clarify. I just need keep in mind this is a framing device of Barbie teaching Kelly the magic part,
okay.
but
By
she
saying,
dips.
hold on, by first prefacing with this is a story of a girl whose painting saved her life.
Yeah.
Jam as paint.
So,
Live up to this.
and I guess it kind of did in that it got the ball rolling. But
I also
okay,
wanted
so-
oh sorry. I just want to say that they make her like a lot of red paint.
Yeah, they made her a whole like tub.
Like a whole tub.
It's like, I guess you're
What are you
making...
painting out of red? Are you gonna draw like a bloodbath?
It's
like,
gonna be... monochromatic is when it's all the same
Yeah.
color, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
So
people
just-
do that, and they make them look really cool.
I mean,
Yeah, but
also,
that's only
like,
one
whether-
shade of pink.
I forgot to-
pink of red.
I forgot to explain this, but yeah, Mother Gothel trashed all her paint stuff, and that's why they made her this tub. But these
Yeah.
berries were all that they had. So yeah, it's gonna be monochrome for a bit. But no, it's not gonna be, because she dips the shooting star zapped paintbrush former hairbrush in it and puts it to the wall, and it just forms way more than she painted. It's a whole blue sky now. So she just keeps dragging it along, and now she's made a portal for herself to go into town.
And the reason she makes this portal was, we also forgot to mention, Mother Gothel is like a super witch. So, super powerful, has like unlimited magic. And when Rapunzel's like, I don't know the name of this guy, Mother Gothel's like, I'm gonna give you some quiet time, and she grows her room into the tower, like the Rapunzel tower.
Yes.
So that's
she
where the
does.
tower comes from.
So that's why she needs a portal to escape. So then she
Oh,
leaves.
so then did we miss the iconic scene too? We did.
No,
Which
that
one?
that doesn't come till she comes back this time.
Okay.
We're
Oh, wait,
almost there.
you're talking about the one that UV already quoted, right?
Maybe.
Okay. I think,
Okay, well, still, we
So-
can go over it again because I love that scene so much.
yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure that's what we're talking about. But yeah, no, that's going to come up after this. So she goes to the town, and the prince is right there. He's like, oh, hey, you're back. And she's like, yeah.
Good to see you.
And then they do introductions, but then she says, oh, no, I don't need to know your name. Which I thought was a really interesting solution to the whole, like, so now she knows that Mother Gothel wants this name, and so she's like, I just won't know the name.
I know.
It's kind of sneaky, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then she, she can't be lying. She's so
like,
pure
I
that
never
she
asked
can't
him.
lie.
So then they hang out, they're hitting it off, and he invites her to the prince's birthday, and she's like,
Wait,
oh, wow, that's
wait.
really...
Wait, no. First
Oh, right,
they,
right. Yeah, you're right, yeah.
They're like, hey, Barbie's like, oh, no, excuse me. Rapunzel's like, can you help me find out, like, anything about this brush? And so they take it to, like a silver worker in the town. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know about this. My brother made it. And Rapunzel's like, okay, cool. Well, can you...
Bring him out.
Like, can I talk to him? It's like, I have not seen him in ages.
He's like, about that.
Ever
The two
since the
kingdoms
war.
are at war.
So that's one thing, too.
He lives in
like-
West Berlin, and I haven't seen him in years.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so, like, that's, like, a really heavy thing that, like, they don't... I mean, I guess they work it out so it's fine. And, like, a lot of the townspeople just, like, sort of hate that. But I hadn't really... It's interesting that they added in that element that, like, some people have family in the other kingdom. I think, like, I think that was really an interesting addition because they could have just not had that be a thing, really.
Yeah.
But putting it in, just really showing the ramifications of this war. It's just like, okay. So then they do that. Back at the manor, Hobie and Penelope are like, oh no, Mother Gothel, trouble. So the prince is inviting her to his birthday. And she's like, oh, wow, you must be special if you're going to the prince's ball. And he's like, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
and then,
totally.
and I was just like, I was also like, weren't they like walking the castle grounds at this point?
But we
I
just
think they
snuck
were.
on.
But then Penelope comes through the portal, bravely, I'll add, and then he's about to kill her until she's like, no, this is my friend.
A mighty
And-
beast. Rapunzel's like, sup, Penelope?
And then this is my friend. She's like, you're friends with the dragon? Which at this point, I like the look on his face because he's like, okay, you don't want to know my name. I don't know where you've been forever. You just sort of stumbled on here. And you're friends with a dragon. There's like...
Ma'am.
There's a lot to unpack here, but
Well,
for now
you're-
I'm just gonna throw away the suitcase.
Yeah, there's a lot. Your whole you is just a lot, Miss Lady, but okay.
But that's
But
pretty hot.
but I do love you.
Yeah. So then Penelope's like, you've got to come back, otherwise my dad's going to get it. And then she's like, okay. She doesn't really even hesitate at all. She's just like, oh, sorry, gotta bounce. And then she leaves. He was also offering to pick her up, but then she was like, no, don't do that.
Oh, but another thing is that she doesn't know how to get back at first, but she finds a door and she paints on it, and it's a picture of her room, and she says, very important here, I'll come back to clean it up later. And then she jumps in.
Yes. So she's making these portals, she goes back, and then now...
It's time.
Yes. So, so Mother Gothel's like, okay, time's up. You got a name for me yet? And she's like, no.
No.
Oh, we missed the best part of it, though.
But isn't Hobie gonna say it? Isn't Otto gonna say it, like, now?
Yeah. He says it when he's flying up to see Gothel, and he's... Or, no, when Hubie, or whatever his name is.
Hobie.
Ovi is like, oh my god, use your magic, please help me, my foot, it's so bad. And then...
No! You're useless. Give him to me!
That sounded like hentai.
That's Barbie as Rapunzel.
Oh my god. Do you have a soundboard of this?
No, I pulled
Oh
up
my
the clip.
god. It's a family show. We can't be playing this.
Yes,
It's
I know what a
Barbie.
weasel sounds like. The voice actor, probably.
So, so that happens. Barbie, or Rapunzel tells her sidekick, like, just get out of here. And then Gothel, well, okay, I skipped, like, the montage where they get her ready for the ball.
We gotta talk about that.
Okay.
We have a clothing montage, my favorite.
Yeah.
I
love a clothing montage.
The one thing about this is it really highlighted, like, okay, I'm torn. I love montage scenes, but they always do this, and because this one only had a lot fewer selections, it really emphasized this issue with montages more, in that, like, okay, so with a montage, you put something on, and then you have, like, your panel of judges, essentially, who are like, yay or nay. But come on, you knew this wasn't going to be the dress that anyone went with. We don't need them to be like, ooh, it's a little avant-garde. It was made of polygons. It's a dress made of abstract prisms. Why would that be the one?
It's like when you're playing a PlayStation 2 game and the character model doesn't load incorrectly, so that all different polygons shoot out randomly.
Mm-hmm.
She looked like a video game corruption.
I think why she did this was because she was like, oh, I can paint on myself, awesome, and was just playing around.
Yeah,
but she only painted on
let
herself.
Rapunzel have fun.
Didn't she only paint on herself for the last two? It wasn't even the
Yeah.
first
I think so.
two.
Yeah.
The first one
Why
she
did
made
she even try that?
That was her first go.
So,
But I did really enjoy the painting her dress on
yeah.
parts, because that's when it became a magical girl anime, which I'm all about.
That's fair. Again, I can't help but realize the unrealistic expectations this is setting for Kelly. But at the same time, I know she's old enough to understand, fact from fiction, but, the issue was that I was uninspired and didn't know what to paint. I mean, I guess
Barbie,
I could
you're
paint
talking about
stuff from
painting
this
my clothes.
store. Yeah, okay, fine. I think you just wanted to tell this story. Yes, I did. Now shut up.
Yes, Barbie, I learned my lesson.
Okay, back to this. So then, okay, so Mother Gothel comes in and she's like, oh, you were going to the ball, think again. She cuts her hair, and this is basically the only function that her hair serves.
We forgot
Hold
about
on,
the dream
except-
sequence.
Yes, that's what I was
the-
trying to get at before.
We're just on
that's
autopilot at this point.
what I was asking. Okay,
Bro,
I
you
wasn't
explain
sure
the
which
dream
one.
sequence.
Yes, please go for the dream.
Okay, well, so there's no cut in between the scenes, so it just goes into the scene. She's sitting in her window. Her hair is very long, much longer than we've seen in the movie. Previous to this point, her hair's been in a braid, and it reaches about her ankles-ish area. And so we see her long flowing hair. My immediate thought was they pulled a Tangled and oh, her hair is shorter because it's braided.
They're like, wow, her hair is a different length.
Yeah. And then we get the prince calling up
Which,
to her.
I get that, but, your hair doesn't shorten that much when you braid it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works.
Well, although in
It's a bit
Tangle's defense,
unrealistic, but it's okay.
in Tangle's defense, it took 3 girls to intricately wove it, and it was very thick.
3 to 4
it was
small children.
It was a bit wider than she was by the end of it, or about the same. But I don't think Barbie's braid in this would have been that long. It was very thin braid.
So, and then the prince calls up to her, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And then he proceeds to climb up. Mother Gothel appears as a gigantic woman in her room, replacing the walls and the ceiling and the floor, as if she were on some sort of green screen room.
Right.
And then grabs Barbie, grabs Rapunzel, grabs the prince. I don't remember how it ends.
she's
I
like
think it
getting
just ends
ready
with her waking
to
up, right?
she gets ready
She
to
just wakes
bore
up
her.
from that after
And then she
gets
wakes
grabbed,
up.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I appreciate about the dream sequence, first of all, that's what everyone is familiar with Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm.
But that they didn't actually use as a plot point in the main plot of the movie.
Yeah.
But what I appreciated is that they didn't make it super obvious that it was a dream. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they didn't show her going to bed and or like do a weird filter or even have like blurred edges or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool because then that's assuming that their audience, who is children, like this was a movie made for children, are like smart enough to get the subtle the subtle clues, like her hair being super long, the prince showing up there, even though how would he have known where the tower was? So I liked that. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
When I was a little baby watching this for the first time, I was like, oh, hold on, her hair wasn't that long before. Something's weird here. And then Gothel shows up and I'm like, oh no! It was a spooky dream.
So they're doing so they'll jump back forward to the present. They're doing the montage. Mother Gothel shows up because of course she does. And also Otto just let her know. But she shows up and she's like, oh, you think you're going to the ball? You look great. Here's something, a trim. And then she cuts her hair off with magic. And I was like, that's like an interesting...
The fact that she cut her hair is actually, we've skipped over something that's relevant and important to that too.
Oh, right. The prince was going to recognize her because she's the only one with that hair.
Because it
We're
was
just
a masquerade.
skipping a lot of stuff, aren't
Yeah.
we?
There's a lot packed into this storyline.
Yeah. A lot of details, though.
They did a really good job with
There's a lot happens.
Well, they did a really good job with placing important information that comes back later. Like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of payoff throughout.
yeah, without it being very heavy on narrative.
Yeah.
It's a very satisfying movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway,
So she cuts her hair and she's like, ah! But not only that, she goes up to the painting and she's like, there's magic here. So she destroys the painting, destroys the paintbrush, and I was like, wow, I don't know how you're going to get out of this jam. But then that's not it. She puts a curse on the tower that she already made tall so you can't leave. But now it's the spell's like, never leaves the prisoner with a lying heart or whatever.
Never
and then
release the prisoner with a lying heart.
Yeah. I feel like there was a part that rhymed before, but for the rest of the movie, nobody says what the first part was.
Yeah, I can't remember the whole spell.
But there's something...
Like, ooh, bubble, toil and trouble. Don't let her out.
Yeah. So, then Rapunzel was kind of like, beans. And we're not... So she's there.
Oh, darn.
And then we flash forward, well, not really flash forward, but then we go to the ball and the prince is talking to the king. Also, there's been like some political stuff going on in the background too, I forgot about. He wants to just fix the war and he invited the king and the dad's like, don't you see, we can never invite the king. Because we're at war and you're going to have to be at war with them soon too.
Yeah, because the king's boys like rolled up into the into the town and trashed the place. They're all like, "Oh man, my scones." Then the king was like, "See, this is why we don't fraternize with the enemy, idiot! And you invited him to the party." The prince is like, "I just wanted us to get along. I just wanted us to be able to bake a cake with rainbows."
Yeah.
I just wanted you and Bob to stop fighting.
She doesn't even go here.
Rapunzel showing up. Rapunzel showing up at the party. Everybody, she doesn't even go here.
Do you even go to this kingdom? No, I just have a lot of feelings. Okay, go home.
Alright, go.
I always love that. I love the idea of this person like walking by and just seeing people doing this and like, I'm gonna get in on this. I always wondered how she got there. But anyway, okay, so we're at the ball. The prince is like looking for Rapunzel, and the king's like, "Oh, why aren't you dancing?" And he's like, "Cause I want this girl, cause she likes
Waiting
me
for my
me."
date to show up, Dad.
She doesn't
Dad,
even
God.
know. She's like, she doesn't even know that I'm the prince, and the dad's like, "Oh, I'd like to meet her." "Yeah, so would I. She's not here yet, Dad. Go away."
Lost. And then
Doesn't
he's
say
talking to a lady. Something about her character model just enticed me when I was young. I was like, who is this? Look at you, little hat.
Oh, and this is the scene where he finally sees that mystery lady, and she starts running, and we all joked about how awful the running animation was.
It wasn't that bad.
I
It
mean,
was just kind of funny.
It was
'cause
just
she was
goofy,
like,
'cause she was
running
like,
away.
"Oh, come catch me!"
Hee hee. Put that one video of Trisha Paytas running away from Scream. Help me! Oh my god!
Now I just think of her falling off the treadmill in her fake Darman skit.
I'm trying to find
That
the
was
GIF. It was so good.
That was such a sad fall. Oh no, I can't go that fast.
Ow, my elbow. That hurt.
I like that it was the elbow she didn't even fall on.
We really are in the darkest timeline. Trisha Paytas is making Darman-esque skits for YouTube.
Honestly, if that's all she
God.
was doing, that would be
Oh,
great.
I found it. I found the
Yeah.
GIF I was talking about. I'll post it in Barbie Squad.
Okay. So
No, don't chase
then so he finally catches up to her, and she takes off the hair and reveals who she is, and he's like, "Oh." And then she's like, "Am I not satisfying for you?" Zap. And now they're in a chase back to the castle. It's getting jam packed. So
The party is going downhill.
yeah, so then Penelope goes up to her dad like, "We gotta help Rapunzel go. She saved you and you didn't even know. She could have left.
Before that,
and you could have been
before
murdered."
that. So, Gothel to Hugo, who is Penelope's dad, she was like,
yeah.
"You know, a lot of this is kind of your fault because
Oh,
you
right.
let Rapunzel
Yeah.
escape. So, guess what? Zap, and then he's chained to the wall and he can't get away."
Oh, yeah, that's important. So, and then I guess he kind of,
Like,
Just
berates
takes it-
Penelope, and she's like, "You know, this is not okay, Dad. You're kind of mean."
yeah.
Kind
And
of
then
a jerk, dude.
yeah, because since she's like, "Well, I'm just going to tell you anyway, because you're chained here and you need to listen to me." And then she's just like, "Rapunzel could have just left you to rot here, but she didn't because I asked her not to."
I should have left you on that street corner when I saw you. But she didn't.
Oh my god.
And then, so then Hugo's like, "Oh, well, she's better than me. Okay, well, remember the spell? She said the one with a lying heart." "Oh, right. Well, Rapunzel never lied about anything." So she hops up.
So she didn't even try to leave.
I mean,
If she had tried to leave.
to be fair, the more I look, at first I was thinking that, but the more I looked at it, she couldn't have really even tried until Penelope went to check on her, because she would have just fallen off the building.
Yeah.
She's a smart lady. She could have figured something out.
I know, but
I guess.
also, I'm pretty sure it was also because she was just so distraught at that point. Like, she had all
Yeah,
her
I'm
dreams
also-
taken away from her.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long she was up in the tower before Penelope rolled up, but I mean, you get a little bit of wallow time if your hair just got chopped off and
Wallow
your
time.
one thing from your parents was destroyed.
She's just kind of going
Yeah.
through it at the moment. I don't blame her.
Yeah, she can wallow a little. But anyway, they free her, and so she gets out, and then the dad is finally like, "You know what? I've been toxically masculine. I realize now you're a mightier dragon than me. So if you just believe in yourself, you can fly."
If you
And all
believe
she
in the heart of
needed-
the cards.
And I was so like, oh, she finally got her dad's approval. I was really happy about that. Not that she needed to
We're
earn
really rooting
it,
for
but
her.
but I'm glad she got it because she
Well,
wanted it.
I think not only that, but the fact that she didn't just get her dad's approval. He had character growth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not that she changed or was trying too hard to get his approval and then finally got it. It's that she earned it by changing his character.
Yeah, like he learned. I think because he learned two things. One,
He had a
learned
change of
that
heart.
one, he learned she was a strong dragon in her own way. Also, she's like a tenth the size of you. So
Yeah,
I don't know why.
she's a baby.
I don't know.
I think at some point she's referred to as a baby dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what that was. But anyway, you learned that she's not like you. She's strong in her own way. But you also learned that your owner is a monster. And that was kind of
Yeah, you are being abused.
that was like an equally important lesson he needed to learn, I feel.
Yeah.
So that's good. Growth for Hugo, snaps for Penelope. So
Yay.
they end up flying over the wall and they're going. And then here's where we get the really, dare I say, anticlimactic villain reveal. So the prince runs in, Mother Gothel's there, the king is there, they're fighting, and then Mother Gothel is like...
The two kings are going at it.
Yeah. And then Mother Gothel asks the one king, you hate him. Why? Because he attacked my kingdom. Because you stole my daughter. No, I did. What?
Whoa.
You did? And then it's like, okay, so we... Yeah, so they've been planting these seeds basically from the beginning. And remember, we mentioned that picture deal that the face cut out. So Mother Gothel says...
That they were lovers.
Because the prince... Well, first the prince is like, you knew her? And he's like, yeah, we were friends. And she's like, friends? You loved me. I never loved you. And that's why I stole your daughter. She would have been mine if you married me. Which I was
the king's like,
wait.
what the hell? Is
So when
going on?
I watched this with Bob, his first thing was like, and I'll probably cut this out because I don't know how to word this more tastefully, but these are his words,
Who,
not
Bob's?
mine. But he was, Bob's. He was like, so this guy's jizz was so special. Just the literal conception was valuable enough for her to steal. Because she wasn't even like nice to the daughter. It's not like this is like I'm gonna give you this perfect life. He's gonna wish he could have been a part of it. No, you're just a slave.
Yep.
So like, why did you steal? Why could there was no one else you could have married ever?
She was just so bitter.
Yeah.
I would
and
like,
her-
especially he still had fond memories of her. Because he was like, oh yeah, we were friends.
So he still could have been like a godparent. She's like, not enough.
It's weird too because so she never even told him how mad he didn't even know she resented him. So did she even confess or did he just marry someone else and then she got mad and stole a baby?
Do you ever just get
he's-
so mad at your former lover that you steal their firstborn?
That's a perfectly reasonable response, I guess.
Yeah, let me pull a
So-
Rumpelstiltskin because you wronged me in 7th grade.
Rumpelstiltskin is such a story. I like... for one, at bottom, Rumpelstiltskin just wanted validation.
And this little lady in the dungeon was like, yep, I spun the gold.
He just
Rumpelstiltskin's
wanted
like, "What the
someone to
hell?"
say his name. Very sad. But, okay, so then Rapunzel bursts in and she's like, hey, quit it.
Stop fighting.
Stop fighting.
She's
Gothel, look at me. I know you. You're better than this.
Like, just, like,
She
you could
doesn't
just
do that.
stop.
Well, she kind of does
They-
that at the end.
Gothel,
But
please,
then
Yeah.
this
it
is
was
your
a joke.
redemption arc.
And then she's like, no
So pick
to
me.
that.
Choose me.
So
Select
then,
me.
so they chaos ensues. The ballroom is burning. Rapunzel and Gothel are running out of the building. And then they end up that door that was supposed to be cleaned up. They go through it. Well, or just Gothel goes through it.
She kind of gets tricked into going through the door.
Yeah. And then Hugo comes up and she's like, oh, help me get out. And he's like, no, you're a lying heart lady. Bye.
Liar!
That's actually a quote from the movie.
Yeah, Autumn literally says, no,
You're a lying heart lady.
You're a lying heart lady.
So then she's
Chloe
like,
Wiseau line was that? You are a lying lady.
You are lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Gothel.
You're tearing me apart, Rapunzel.
You're tearing me apart.
Penelope.
so then, so then she tries to do like a Uno reverse on the spell, but it doesn't work, and so she's just trapped there, and she's like, no! And then we go back to the ballroom, and they just like dump some water on the fire.
The
and
water
it's
looks
all
great.
good.
Just want to say that.
And then her and the prince hug, and then her dad's like, hey,
I'm
you're
your
my
dad.
daughter.
You
yeah.
are my
You are my
dad.
dad.
You're my dad. Wookie, wookie, wookie.
Wookie, wookie, wookie. And then Rapunzel's like, I have a family. Wow.
Yeah. And that's the movie.
Almost
And the
it.
the two kingdoms make a
Yeah.
They became
So-
friends. Rapunzel
Oh,
becomes
yeah, they have-
the queen.
and allied through marriage.
Mm-hmm. And then we go back, and Barbie's
before
like,
before we go back, so earlier I was like, oh, she's painting a scene from The Little Mermaid, but flipped for copyright. The last shot we see of Rapunzel is her on the beach that she was painting,
mm.
and it's like,
Yes.
oh, she came full circle.
Oh, her character arc.
And then we're back in Barbie's art studio with Kelly.
So she's like, so you see, you can paint anything you want.
Your painting
Oh,
can
well,
save
no,
your
for-
life.
Well, Kelly's like, oh, I wish I had a magic paintbrush. And she's like, but you see, you do.
You're holding
Oh,
it.
that's what art's all
You're
about.
holding the paintbrush. 5 head.
There are so many other plot points to that movie that I would come away from it rather than appreciate art and your own ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, like, be honest. Trust your friends. Be a good friend. Don't steal babies to spite your ex-boyfriend.
Be who you are.
Is it
Don't-
really
yeah,
despite your
don't- don't
ex-boyfriend
try
if
to
they were
be-
never...
There's creative ways to solve problems,
Yeah.
thinking outside the box.
You don't
lots of
have to
good
result
stuff.
to kidnapping.
Right. But yeah, so that was Rapunzel, and so far I think it might be one of my favorites
I
that
think
we've
so,
covered
too.
so far. I really liked Fairytopia, but I also really, really like this. I basically like, I think, all the Barbie movies because I never watched them growing up, so this is basically like my first introduction to them, but I gotta say, I like that they're, I feel like very pro-girl in a very good
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, they do a
Um,
really good job with like taking the classic story but making it very centered on the female lead
Mhm.
and making her her own hero. Which
Yeah,
I
I
think
would-
is pretty good, especially considering when a lot of these came out in the early aughts. There was we still weren't quite there with a lot of female-led movies.
Yeah, I would say even too. I think because it like at least like with Rapunzel with this one, why it stood out so much more. It's kind of like as far as like a Disney princess goes. I mean, she's not a Disney princess, but I feel like with those movies, it's like I don't know how to explain this, but like with Tangled or with just all of them, I don't know. It just feels like really like spoon-fed on why these women matter, but like Barbie's just kind of doing things and taking care of herself, and we don't really need to be like it doesn't need to be
Barbie
explained
is showing,
to
not
us.
telling.
Yeah,
that's
in that
which is
way.
something I always appreciate in like girl power type movies or like whatever. Instead of like I'm here and I'm strong because I'm a woman and that means I can do anything. It's just like they just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like it is weird, those movies that always show that, because it's like, but they're like real life women doing these jobs.
Exactly.
They don't act like that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so weird if like you go to the doctor's office and you have like a lady doctor and she comes in and she's like, yes, I'm a woman, get
Girl
used
boss.
to it.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's like every
Like,
time.
all right, can you fix my elbow?
Wait, why are you going to the dentist to fix your elbow?
We said doctor.
Oh, I thought you said dentist.
They don't sound that similar.
Shush, please. I'm having brain rot.
Okay. Well,
Bestie, you
that
gotta
was
listen.
I can't. I do not perceive it.
okay. So that was our dish about Rapunzel. Yeah, okay. So thank you guys for talking about this movie with me. And thank you guys for listening. And remember to comment, like, and subscribe because we all need friends. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.